to do that is with online dating, because you have an unlimited number of partners. Of course, the downside of that is that the people searching for me also have an unlimited number of partners, which makes me a dime a dozen. That said, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, tonight I want to speak about some of the other red flags of online dating and also some of the unusual experiences I've had. I use a dating site called OkCupid, which is pretty much like any other dating site, but the advantage of OkCupid is that it's free. And the first red flag I want to talk about are people who write messages that are offensive before you've ever met them in person, so naturally you never do meet them in person. I was corresponding with, I thought he was a gentleman, but he proved not to be. But we were corresponding and he seemed nice enough, so we decided we were going to meet. We made plans a week in advance to meet. So the day before we were supposed to go out, I messaged him, "Are we still on for tomorrow?" And he messages me back, "Oh yeah, we're on, as long as we can go to your house after and see how you like to get." He's definitely uncomfortable. And this date is canceled. Short while after that, he messaged me. He was very sorry, and that he was drunk when he wrote that, and he didn't realize until he was sober how offensive it was. But he had learned his lesson, and he would never again write a message when he was drunk. But will he be drunk when he goes on the date? I told him, "I'm very glad you learned your lesson, and you can apply that in the future when you date other women, but you certainly won't be applying it with me." Now, my next example is somebody who just skates the line in between being offensive and yet telling me exactly what I want to hear. He just had this aura and magnetism that just was able to draw me in. And yeah, he managed to get away with doing things that other people could probably never get away with doing because of his aura and magnetism. He told me that he was Italian, sexy Italiano, that he lived in New York but was visiting Honolulu for a short while on business, and we hope to get together in the short time he was here. And he said his name was Francesco. Oh, Francesco. I could fall for him just on his basis of his name alone. But let me give you an example of some of the things that he wrote to me and he messaged. We were talking about getting together, and I said, "Well, I'm going to have to go down the hill to meet you because I live at the top of the hill." And he writes back, "Oh, down the hill, does that mean like the sexy curves of your body?" No, it doesn't, but secretly I'm thinking, "Oh, yeah, tell me more, Francesco." And he did tell me more. He told me that he wanted to kiss my sweet lips. And oh my God, I was thinking maybe I might like that. But you know, I had to let him know that I have boundaries. So I wrote to Francesco, "I am not going to have sex with you the first time we meet." And he wrote back to me, "I totally respect that." So I felt safe. It'd be okay to meet him, and it'd be okay to let him kiss my sweet lips and not worry about him kissing me anywhere else. But it was already almost the end of his stay here, and either I was busy or he was busy. Finally, the day before he leaves, well, he calls me that night, and he didn't call me, excuse me, he wrote me, and he said, "Tomorrow, very early in the morning, I rent a car and I come to see you and we watch the sunrise together." Wow, that just sounds so romantic. Oh, Francesco, I was so excited. I could just imagine him kissing me as the sun rose. And that night I couldn't sleep. My heart was just beating. I was so excited. Couldn't wait till the morning, but then I got a phone call. I got a message from him, and he said he had to cancel because of business. Well, now our plan B was that I was going to bus into town to see him just before he left. And I was really worried that he might cancel again. But he wrote, "Don't worry, I will let you know if it is okay." So I was hoping it would be okay, and I got dressed, I got my makeup on, and I was ready to step out the door, and then I got another message. And he said he had to cancel and it wasn't going to work. And so immediately I just wrote back to him, Francesco, this has been an emotional roller coaster. And he wrote back, I am so sorry. I know this has been very, very difficult for you. But the next time I come to Honolulu, if you still like to see me, we can get together. And I just wish it had been a different kind of up and down. Well, I was thinking of something to reply to that. I wrote something, I clicked send, and I got a message that said, Francesco no longer has an OkCupid account. I don't know what to think. But I consulted some of my friends who are more savvy in these matters. Have you ever heard of catfishing? That is when somebody creates a false identity online for the exclusive purpose of pursuing a romantic relationship when they have no intention of ever meeting you in person, although they will lead you on to think they will meet you in person. Presumably they do this because they get a thrill out of an online romance. They do not get a thrill if they meet you in person, and they're afraid you might reject them. That was Francesco? Francesco, how could you? But I had to look at the evidence. I mean, there was all the canceled dates, and he canceled his OkCupid account. And then I recalled other red flags that I hadn't picked up on at the time. For instance, I had been asking him for his phone number, because if you're going to meet somebody in person, you ought to have their phone number. And he kept writing, oh, I send it to you, I send it to you, but he never did. And then the one time he called me on the phone, well, naturally called from a blocked number, but then, okay, lots of people have blocked numbers, but, you know, I'm not sure if the person talking to me had an accent Italiano. It was an accent, but at the time, I wasn't sure what an accent Italiano would sound like. However, as I've been preparing for this speech, I've been researching accent Italiano, and I don't think the person calling me had that kind of accent. And one more thing. He told me he lived in New York, but his OkCupid profile said he lived in Honolulu. And I asked him about that, and he said, oh, must be a mistake. So there you have it. I had to believe the evidence. And well, after I got over the shock, the hurt, the anger, actually I was left with a sense of awe of how good he was at what he did. I mean, the way he was just able to just pull me in like a black hole. And even when I reread his messages, when I read about his, I like to see your sweet leaps, and I'd still get this feeling of, oh, Francesco, even though I knew it was all fantasy and lies. That's how good he was. Now, my next example is somebody who was totally honest, both when I met him in person and on his profile. And it's not so much a red flag, it was just a very unusual experience I had. And I'm going to call him Sam. And actually, Sam is the first person that I'm going to describe it to you that I actually met in person. So when Sam and I met in person, he told me that he has an alter ego named Susan. And I recall reading something about that in his profile. But now he told me he likes to dress like a Susan, and he likes to go out as Susan. And then he asked me, would you like to go out to dinner with Susan? Well, I'm the type of person who will try anything once. So I said, okay, I'll go out to dinner with Susan. So a week later, Susan and I went out to dinner. And I gotta tell you, she almost, but not quite, looked like a real woman. But she wasn't very attractive. Still, we had a nice dinner. And then when Susan was taking me home, I was thinking, well, there's no way Susan's going to kiss me goodnight. Of course, if she had been more attractive, who knows what might have happened. Anyway, the next time I spoke to Sam, I said, well, next time we go out, Susan can stay home. However, next time we went out, it was Halloween. Now, Halloween, as you know, is the only night of the year when Susan can go anywhere she wants and be accepted everywhere, so no way was Susan gonna stay home on Halloween. So we went to a Halloween party. Next time we went out, it was Sam's birthday. And by coincidence, Susan shares the same birthday as Sam. And Susan went out for her birthday. Well, we went out for Susan's birthday. Now at this point, I'm not really sure whether I'm still dating Susan and Sam, but I can tell you they are friends, and it is really fun to have two different friends in one body. And I also want to say that I have nothing against transgender people. They are a protected minority, and I would fight for social justice for transgender people. But actually, I don't think Sam is transgender because he didn't want to permanently become Susan. He'd like to go back and forth from Sam to Susan because he liked them both at different times. So I would say Sam is bigender and Susan are bigender. That's what I would describe it. So now I've described to you many red flags and unusual experiences I've had with online dating. But I want you to know it is possible to meet normal, regular, everyday people. And to prove it to you, I brought some of them here. Well, actually, there was one person who was supposed to come who told me at the last minute he had to cancel, and I was disappointed that he canceled because actually, if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be doing this speech. Because on our first date, he told me, he asked me, what have been your experiences on OkCupid? So I told him, and I wrote, hey, this is hilarious, this needs a speech. So here I am, thanks to him, and I'm sorry he's not here. But there are other people here in the room that I brought to prove to you that you can meet normal people, and one of them is Dan. I brought Dan, and well, Dan and I do have something special going on, and I just hope I didn't ruin it with this speech, but I'll talk to you after. And somebody else I brought here is to prove to you that there are a lot of nice people out there. Jim is somebody I met online. And actually, Jim has something that he wanted to tell you. What were you going to tell them, Jim? Want to stand up and tell them?
I have on occasion gone out dressed as Susan, and I find it enjoyable. It's really weird. You walk into 7-Eleven